Welcome. Have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes when the legal system grapples with complex questions about the human mind? It's a place where psychology meets the law, bridging the gap between behavior, mental health, and justice. This fascinating intersection is where forensic psychology truly shines. Today, we're going to demystify a core practice within this vital field, the forensic evaluation. It's a term you might have heard, perhaps in a courtroom drama or a news report, but its real purpose and intricate process are often misunderstood. Think of it not as therapy, but as a specialized investigation into the psychological aspects of legal matters. At its heart, forensic psychology is the application of psychological principles and research to legal questions. This isn't about diagnosing and treating a patient in the traditional sense. Instead, a forensic evaluation is a specific mental health assessment conducted by a licensed psychologist with a singular objective: to answer a precise legal question. It's a crucial tool for courts, attorneys, and other legal entities to gain an expert understanding of mental health and human behavior when legal decisions are on the line. Now, it's essential to understand that this is fundamentally different from a therapeutic evaluation. When you see a therapist, the goal is often to alleviate distress, promote growth, or provide treatment. In a forensic evaluation, the primary client isn't the individual being evaluated, but rather the retaining legal party, a judge, a lawyer, or a court. This means the psychologist's role is not to help the individual, but to provide objective expert information to the legal system. Confidentiality, for instance, is handled very differently, and this distinction is crucial for everyone involved to understand. The psychologist's commitment is to objectivity, integrity, and impartiality, guided by a very specific referral question posed by the legal system. So, how does a forensic evaluation actually work? It's a comprehensive, multi-faceted process designed to gather as much relevant information as possible. It usually begins with an extensive review of all pertinent records. That includes legal documents, medical histories, previous psychological evaluations, and any other relevant background information. Next, the forensic psychologist conducts structured clinical interviews with the individual being evaluated. These aren't just casual conversations. They are carefully designed to gather specific information related to the legal question at hand, exploring mental state, cognitive abilities, personal history, and more. To ensure a robust assessment, standardized psychological testing is often employed. These tests measure various aspects of mental health, personality, cognitive functioning, and even things like potential for malingering or faking symptoms. Beyond direct interviews, forensic psychologists often conduct collateral interviews with third parties. This means speaking with family members, friends, employers, or even law enforcement, all to corroborate information and gain a broader perspective. Finally, all this gathered data is synthesized into a detailed written report. This report summarizes the findings, explains the methodology, and most importantly, provides expert opinions directly addressing the initial legal referral question. In many cases, the psychologist may also be called upon to provide expert testimony in court, explaining their findings and opinions to a judge or jury. Forensic evaluations are applied across a broad spectrum of legal issues, touching nearly every corner of the justice system.
In criminal cases, for instance, psychologists might assess a defendant's competency to stand trial. This isn't about guilt or innocence, but whether the person understands the charges against them and can assist their attorney in their defense. Another critical area is evaluating criminal responsibility, often referred to as the insanity defense, determining the individual's mental state at the time of the alleged offense. They also conduct violence risk assessments to help courts make decisions about public safety, provide information for sentencing mitigation, or evaluate whether a juvenile should be transferred to adult court. But it's not just criminal cases. In civil cases, forensic evaluations are crucial for assessing psychological damages and personal injury claims, perhaps after an accident, or evaluating disability claims. They might determine a professional's fitness for duty or assess an individual's testamentary capacity, their competence to make a will or manage their own financial affairs. Family court cases frequently utilize these evaluations, particularly in complex child custody disputes or when assessing parental fitness. And beyond these major categories, forensic psychologists might also contribute to school threat assessments or even conduct research on the reliability of eyewitness identification. The range of issues is truly vast, underscoring the constant need for objective mental health input in legal decision-making. Despite their critical importance, forensic evaluations are not without their complexities and controversies. The very nature of applying psychological principles within an adversarial legal system creates unique challenges. One of the most significant areas of debate revolves around ethical dilemmas. Forensic psychologists walk a fine line, constantly needing to maintain objectivity and impartiality, even when retained by one side of a legal dispute. There can be a real risk of role confusion, where an evaluator might inadvertently slip into a therapeutic mindset, or vice versa. Clearly communicating the limits of confidentiality to the individual being evaluated is paramount, as is the strict prohibition against contingency fees, meaning a psychologist can't be paid more if a particular legal outcome is achieved. These ethical safeguards are vital to ensure the integrity of the process. Another major concern is the potential for bias in assessment. Psychologists must vigilantly guard against various forms of bias. This includes cognitive biases that can influence judgment, sympathy bias, which can lead to unconscious alignment with either victims or offenders, and particularly cultural bias. This can manifest as misinterpreting cultural differences, or using assessment tools that are not normed on diverse populations, leading to inaccurate results. Perhaps most subtly challenging is adversarial allegiance, where an expert might unconsciously align with the party that retained them, even with the best intentions. Concerns also exist regarding the reliability and standardization of procedures. The field constantly strives for greater consistency. There can be insufficient field reliability in some procedures, meaning different evaluators might come to different conclusions using similar methods. A lack of perfectly standardized methods can contribute to these evaluator differences. Therefore, the validation of assessment tools is critical, ensuring that the measures used are appropriate for the population being tested and are supported by robust, empirically based research.
The future of forensic evaluation is one of continuous growth and refinement. There's an ongoing, strong imperative for enhanced standardization of methods and the expansion of empirically based research to further validate assessment tools. This will ensure even greater reliability and accuracy in the insights provided to the legal system. The focus will undoubtedly remain on refining ethical guidelines and comprehensive training to mitigate biases, promote unwavering impartiality, and clearly delineate the roles of forensic psychologists within the legal context. Bringing the discussion to a thoughtful and concluding close, efforts to improve quality control and establish even more robust methodologies will be crucial for maintaining the integrity and credibility of forensic evidence. As our understanding of mental health deepens and the legal landscape evolves, forensic psychology will continue to adapt, striving for increasingly objective, fair, and scientifically sound evaluations to inform judicial decisions and ultimately contribute to a more just society. Thank you for joining me on this exploration into the fascinating world where psychology helps shape justice.